Welcome back. That was the speech there from the governor-elect for a second term, Governor of Fintiri in Adamawa State. Right now, I've been joined in the studio by Atiku Abubakar. He's a policy analyst to speak to me about developments in the state and the final results and what this means and implications for more elections to come, especially the off-season elections set to happen in a few months. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Let's start with your general thoughts before we go into some specifics about the supplementary elections you saw, perhaps not just Adamawa but all around. Did you see any improvement on the part of INEC?
There was no much improvement on the part of INEC. It's just that they tried and do something to redeem their image, especially when the results were declared in the first instance, and they had to call that off before continuing with the collation and declaring the authentic winner. So that was just the only thing they did to improve their reputation, to redeem their image.
All right. So what about the outcome? People say this was almost a theft of democracy and other such languages. Do you think there was any true danger?
It was clear before the supplementary election that Governor Fintiri was going to win the re-election because I think he was leading, and the number of accredited voters was not very much to enable Senator Aisha Binani to emerge victorious, and that was why they did something very nasty by going to declare themselves, just making arrangement and declaring themselves, like we always hear, go to court. Which court will you go? If the people of Adama had not stood their ground, that would have been the end of it. So that's why what INEC and some of these security agencies do in connivance with INEC is only trying to put this country into anarchy, because when they perpetrate their illegality, they ask you to go to court. You go to court, the judges will sell the judgment to the highest bidder. That's why people do whatever they feel like doing, because they know at the end of the day, they will come out triumphant, since you need to buy judgment. It depends on the amount of money you have that you can buy judgment from the court.
That's interesting. What about the response? I recall we had the conversation here on, I think Tuesday or there about Monday or so, and our guest made recommendations that INEC should remove the rec, investigate, arrest, and so on and so forth. What do you make of that? What we saw, the way it was handled, the rec now has been removed. INEC has said they will write letters to the IGP seeking prosecution and so on and so forth. And then so what people are saying now is, if it can be done for a rec, who was in the position, for lack of a better word, to do same for Mahmoud Yakubu himself, when he seemed to, according to what some people say, contravene some of his rules, even though he says it did not. What was the checkmate for him?
It should not just removing the rec. The rec, as it stands now, if the accusation is true that he collected 2 billion naira, I think with 2 billion naira, 1/4 of that amount is enough for him to be free in the country that we are today. That is even too much. If you have 100 million naira to throw away to the security agencies and the judges, you will be free. Whatever crime, let me tell you, the fact is that if you commit a crime in Nigeria and you are arrested, it is either you belong to the wrong camp or somebody wants to use that to persecute you politically. It is not because of the offense. No offense you commit in Nigeria that you can go scot-free. Or you are a poor man. If you don't go scot-free, it's either you are poor or you don't belong to the right camp. That's the truth of the matter. So what we expect is that that rec should be prosecuted to serve as deterrence. But if it is true that he was bribed with 2 billion naira, I don't know, and I don't think the case will not be swept under the carpet, because that is a huge amount of money. And in the case of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, yes, he doesn't have immunity. They can charge him, prosecute him. for some of his actions.
At this moment, or
Even
he's
at
no
the-
longer the chairman?
He is about, even at this moment, he can be prosecuted for criminal acts. I know it's only governors and the deputies, vice president and president that have immunity. I don't think even the Senate president has immunity. So he can be prosecuted. He should be prosecuted if there are criminal allegations against him. We should be seen to be doing some what is right. But my fear for this country is that having been in politics for about 2 decades, I have come to realize that a good number of politicians in this country, more than 90% of the politicians are crooks. You'll be surprised to hear this. What did this?
But there are 10% that are not crooks.
You can have about 10% that are not crooks. They are crooks. You see, to succeed in Nigeria politics, you will become successful if you can go into certain crimes, like going into drug, being a kidnapper, do certain things that you can, that is being a murderer. You tend to succeed better in Nigeria politics than being a good man.
Why do you say so?
Because I had conversations. I have met with virtually all the governors in the Northwest, almost all the governors in the Northwest. I have met with sitting vice presidents. I have met with so many ministers. I have met with so many leaders of this country. I've come to realize that only one thing is important to them. They are the poorest people I have come to meet. The only thing they have is money, and that is the only thing that's important to them. When it comes for them to make money, you have politicians, you have leaders that if they loot, say 1 billion naira, they can destroy property worth 5 billion naira to cover the 1 billion naira. This is the extent these people can go. They are the worst set of people. In my about 20 years of being in active politics, from student activism to partisan politics, only one man, I think about 2 people, but only one man I have found to be sincere, honest, upright in his ways, both private and his public life. One is most distinct, and another one to be disciplined. The man I have, the only man, I have told you I have met many governors, almost all the governors in Northwest. The man that has shown to be sincere and honest is Malam Ibrahim Shekaru, the former governor of Kano State. That is the only sincere and honest politician that I know that exists in this country. The most disciplined is the former governor of old Abia State, Ogbonayono. His own is the most disciplined and politician. Remove this, all that I have met are either crooks or what they tell the public is different from what they do. And they have made so much money from politics. You see, you have people from very wretched home. Having gotten to power, they become so rich that you begin to wonder how they make this money. This is because of the things they do. And that is why this country, the truth is that except God's intervention, can never move forward. The political parties you have, they are criminal organizations. As time goes, that's why sometimes I mention them. They are more or less criminal organizations. All they do is to either sell the ticket to murderers and rapists. I was discussing with a political party. They told me that they want to sell their ticket for 150 million. I said, this your party is a small party that is not even you want to sell for 150 million naira.
For Okuba?
For governorship. No, what you need to do is, as long as you can bring 150 million naira, the organizing secretary was telling me this, but the form for the political party is 13 million naira. But for them to do everything and ensure that somebody becomes their candidate, the person will pay 150 million naira. This is almost an unknown political party. So it's more or less a criminal organizations who have come that have been registered by INEC to be able to perpetrate their crime, but in the name of a political party. So how can the country move forward? At the end of the day, that is the process that will recruit leaders. So I fear, sometimes I look at my children and I begin to wonder that, well, it's not my doing, but bringing any child into this world and to this country, you have cheated the child, that you need to apologize to the child.
That's interesting. But let's speak about what persons expected from the Adamawa election. They expected history to be made in that a woman, for the first time, would lead a state. What do you make of the agitations that, despite some things that we might have heard or seen, that it happens elsewhere with men, in the majority? So why is it so different? If a woman does it, she should be given the same opportunity to acquire power, just as her male counterparts have been doing for years.
Oh, the fraudulent act of declaring herself governor?
They've lumped everything together. They say, it has been done by others.
They should encourage women to go into fraudulent activities so that they...
Perhaps not in that language, but people say that feminism or the fight for women's rights is not just about their rights, but also about their wrongs, and that women should be able to do wrong. Because the narrative that some persons are saying now is, with what the APC or Senator Binani has done, there is no hope for women anymore. Some people are saying it's not fair that because of what one woman has done, you write off the whole gender, even though men have been doing the same thing and even worse, and nobody has written off the agenda.
No man has been able to do what Senator Binani has done. No man. I don't think. In short, I am still in a state of shock that the woman had the audacity to arrange somebody who is not supposed to be the returning officer to go and declare her because she wants to become governor. No man has done that too. This would have been set a precedence for men to learn from what she has done. If that was allowed to stay, would have been in a terrible situation in this country, because all what you need is that you might decide not to even campaign, reserve all the money you have, and then ensure that you negotiate with the REC, mobilize resources, and mobilize some thugs or security agents to protect the REC. Then the REC will just go and declare, and then you ask the other contestant to go to court. Meanwhile, you know that at the Supreme Court level, I have repeatedly said this. Judgments at the Supreme Court level, I am not a lawyer, but they make a lot of errors. Errors in the sense that they hinge their judgment on technicalities, not on the substance of the case. You don't do this. I don't need to be a lawyer before I know that what they are doing is not only very wrong, but it's setting this country on fire. You see, the reason you see jungle justice in this country is because of two. One is one arm of the government and an agency. It's because of the police and the judiciary. The reason is this: if you do not have money, you can't get justice. Starting from the police to the judiciary. If you do not have money or you are not connected, they can. I was once arrested in Bayelsa State as a cultist. When I remember this, I laugh. I know. I challenged the Inspector General of Police. Let an independent investigator investigate myself and the Inspector General. I'm cleaner than the Inspector General of Police. But I was arrested as a cultist. I was at Udeme Hotel in Yanagwa. Then some cult boys were fighting. Since I do not belong to anyone, and I don't know them, so I stood somewhere. So at that time, my car was being repaired. So the mechanic told me that, Oga, let's leave here. I said, these cult boys that are fighting have already left. Why? He said, police will raid this place. I said, if the police come, they know I'm a visitor. They should know that I'm a visitor. Now, do I look like a cultist? Say, Oga, let's leave here. I'm telling you. I said, no, I'm not going to leave. This is the hotel I stay in. Say, give me my money. Before I would say, the man ran away. I don't think he collected money from me. Before the next thing, I saw police vehicle. That was how they arrested not only me, all those they arrested with me are innocent. Because I know in the course of when they threw us inside one small water and they were tear gassing us, the way they were shouting, I know cultists don't shout like that. So I was just saying, okay, they not only me that I'm innocent. So that is the kind of Nigeria police that you have. I have many experiences. The people, the majority of the recruits in Nigeria police are worse than criminals. They are worse than armed robbers. Just last month, a guy was to be shot in my presence. I was in the public transport, we were coming. The guy wanted to ease himself. somewhere around before the entrance to Kaduna. So where he went into the bush, some persons were coming, some policemen were coming. So when they came, they saw him rushing out. They stopped him, they started beating him without asking. They started beating him. So one removed pistol to shoot. So one of the passengers from the vehicle now raised his hand and said, was I begging? They said, now why are you begging? He now explained that this guy is a passenger in this vehicle. So I now came out and said, now let me talk to them, because you can't just kill somebody like that. Now we have to challenge that. Well, you don't have the right to kill because you are police. So they now realized that, not knowing that they were chasing a criminal. Without finding out, they wanted to shoot an innocent person. If they had shot him, they'll say he's the criminal. That's what they do. That's why there's never a time Nigeria police parade anybody on national television that they say it's a criminal that I believe. I don't believe. Nobody will ever be paraded because I have been arrested as a cultist. They wanted to kill somebody in my presence just last month. It has been happening. That is what happens in this country. They need to reorganize the Nigerian police. The judiciary needs. You cannot be recruiting criminals as police. The country can never move forward. I have said this. I'm challenging the Inspector General of Police. I am cleaner than the Inspector General of Police. I know that. But I've been arrested as a cultist. So these are the things happening in this country. No Nigerians, more than 80% of Nigerians don't have, they do not believe in this country. And it's because of the activities of the leaders and the security agencies. They can frame you up. I have once been told during the Boko Haram that when I was involved in student activism, a security man told me that if you continue this thing you are doing, we will pick you as a Boko Haram member. That was because that time the Boko Haram was at its peak. So I had to be careful. I said, no, this one, once they pick you as Boko Haram, especially now that I have this beard that I have, what will save me? So this is the country we are. So that fraud perpetrated by Binani should not be allowed. It should be condemned. She should be prosecuted. If need be, she should go to prison if she's found guilty. It doesn't affect the women. It doesn't affect the women. They are good women. But she is too desperate. That does not mean that women cannot rise to become governor and if need be for them to become president. But desperate women like Binani should not be allowed. The desperation was too much. And I think a few lives were lost. And I saw a video of an elderly man beaten. It was as a result of her action. And the truth is that if the right thing should be done in this country, now if you are going into election, you must mobilize people that will defend your vote for you. Because if you don't defend, if the Governor Fintiri had remained quiet, say, okay, let me allow INEC to do the thing, to do their work, he would have been rigged out by now.
Well, when you say mobilize in what sense? You know, just over the weekend or so, we heard like an anecdote about an unknown party leader, a party chairman, saying that the next election is going to make sure he gets weapons, he gets arms, because this is someone who allegedly, or you know, is speaking as though he did not engage in any of such activities, and he's saying now that ahead of other elections that he can't allow it. He has to get weapons and get his people. Are we getting to a stage where people now start to take laws into their own hands? That is where the security agencies and the judiciary are pushing people to. Because, okay, you win election. They change the result, declare another person, ask you to go to court. So a similar thing happened, okay, like the next election that is going to come up in Kogi State. I'm going back to Kogi State to mobilize people and to talk to people to be ready. We are not going to fight the security agencies, but we are going to submit our lives. They can kill us, but they have to kill us before they rig for Yahya Bello. That's just what we are going to do now. We are not going to fight them, but we are going to submit our lives so that they can kill us, so that they can declare. INEC, in collaboration with the security agencies, can declare the candidate. Yahya Bello has brought out his brother. Let me tell you this: it is not only pathetic, but it portends danger in the future, because Yahya Bello is minority. He comes from a tribe that they are not only the entire Central and the Kogi West put together is not up to Kogi East. Well, just let's make this the second half of the discussion. Let's be done with Adamawa, then we'll move on to the primaries and some of the issues. So, still speaking on the issue of security, when that announcement was made by the REC, Hudu, do you think at that point in time was when the police that was beside him should have taken action? How would the police take action when the police was already bought over? It was in connivance with the police. Let me tell you, the head of security agencies knew about this.
They knew about it. It was orchestrated, planned and well orchestrated in a way that Binani would have been sworn in. It took the resilience of the PDP members and the governor to change that. They had already perfected that plan. You see, the evil men we have in this country are the leaders. The security agencies were part of the plan. Forget whatever they will come to say. Why was Hudu not arrested? Why was there not a police that was guiding him as at the time he made the announcement? Why was he not picked? Oh, okay, the Inspector General of Police did not know. These people, I have just told you that with 2 billion naira, you can do anything. The truth of the matter is that you can kill anybody in this country and go free.
Let's take for a moment, this is investigated. Where do you think it should logically end? If the wreck is investigated, is there a way the APC candidate can remove herself from this and say, it wasn't me, they acted of their own volition? The
APC candidate cannot remove herself. She planned with them.
I have no proof for that.
Which proof do you need when she, okay, did they go to, who was declared winner? Do you think they will take the risk for just like that? Somebody was almost naked, beaten, an elderly man that is over 60 years was beaten. You think it was just ordinary that they came? The man who declared Binani winner was not a madman. He is not a madman. It was planned by Binani, not only Binani, with some security agencies, and I think there could be even some governors of APC. Let me tell you, you can't roll out anybody from this. Even the president-elect might be aware. Even the president-elect might be aware. These are the people we have as leaders in this country. They are not role models. You see, the challenge we have in this country is that the worst among us are the leaders. The worst among us. Because what it requires for you to win election in this country is money. I tell you, as you are seated now, with 10 billion naira you can unseat your governor. Because all the crooks will come and they don't mind. They are not looking for a good person. They are not good. The worst people are the people leading us. The criminals are those in the security agencies. This is the situation of the country. And I tell you, I must commend Kaftan TV and all other private TV stations. Remove the private TV stations. The situation would have been worse. Because some of the things they want to do, they are afraid that you guys will make it public. And if you make it public, there could be resultant effect that they fear the consequence. And this consequence will come as a result of you guys in the media escalating it. They fear the media more than the judiciary. I know this. They fear the... So you guys are working, you are the ones protecting lives and properties in this country. You are the ones protecting, not the security agencies. You guys are the ones protecting lives and properties. So all those who own media houses in this country deserve the highest national award because they are the real people protecting lives and properties. Because it's as a result of the fear of you guys escalating it that they don't do certain things. So that's the situation. You can't exonerate Binani. She planned everything with security, some of the security men, and then they executed it. They thought that they will have their way and say, go to judiciary. Then they'll still budget some amount of money for the judiciary. If the security agencies are serious, all of them are not serious. You can stop this, the judiciary from doing all of this. Because they are also a part of the evil that is happening in this country. The best thing, if you trace the account of the judges, their family members, track their phone calls, see how they negotiate for money, the properties they buy for them abroad. Sometimes what they do is just to get them properties in abroad and Abuja. Sometimes they don't even put their name. You see, I try to investigate before coming on national television. I make a lot of contacts. I don't take alcohol, and I've never held a bottle of alcohol with a content in it. But sometimes I go to beer parlor, I go to places that I need to get information. One man, a Bureau exchange man, once told me that somebody, a civil servant, has so much money with him, but it's not documented. The reason that he doesn't want even the money traced to him. So it's based on trust. Anything he needs, he just talk to the guy. If he needs any property, the guy goes to buy it. If he wants his children to be sent abroad, the guy would bring the money, dollars, whatever currency he needs, the guy. But there's no document. Why did the civil servant, was able to do that? Because the money is not for him. They simply took the money out of government coffer, and then he doesn't care because they have access to this money. An agency of government in this country that I know very well, even Buhari, President Buhari has gone to supervise there. Everything Buhari said, he was deceived. I don't want to say anything regarding the agency because some persons will get to understand. Everything Buhari said, because I know Buhari was completely deceived. Everything Buhari said that they are going to do, that we are going to do this is this, so for the country to move forward, everything was fake, was a lie. But Buhari was saying it, and he went there to commission something. This is the stage where that's why you need somebody that you don't only give out orders, you follow it up. That's the kind of leader that can succeed in this country. For example, you give instruction that certain things to be done. In the night, go there. Don't trust anybody as long as you want to succeed as a leader. But if you will trust, you can never succeed. At the rate at which Buhari was doing, because I have always been a great critic of Buhari, but I know Buhari can never descend so low like that to deceive, to lie. Buhari was not part of that. I'm very sure. But he was deceived. And in a way that he looked too ordinary as a leader. So that is the situation we are in this country. My brother, this country needs revolution, but it must not be a bloody revolution. But without revolution, nothing good can come out. Even the president that is coming, the only good thing about the president that is coming, if he wants to work, he is a dogged fighter and a rugged man. Those who understand will understand the meaning of that ruggedity. That is the only thing that will help him because he's a system man. But for Buhari, he has not only failed, he has failed woefully as a result of his thinking that feeling there are some few honest men. Where you have more than 90% of people as crooks, how can you succeed in that country?
All right. And now let's talk about the powers of governors. People might say, how is Binani, if indeed she's the one responsible, allegedly, able to do these things when she's fighting the incumbent? You know, they might give you examples of, say, River State, where what is it called? The will of the governor almost always takes the day. So they're saying, what power does Binani have to go toe-to-toe with the governor of his state? And also, I'd like to get your thoughts generally on how, if it exists, that cycle can be broken, where governors can basically choose their successors, whoever they are, however unknown they are. You know, they just come in and take over, and it's almost as though the will of the people is second place to this. So, what do you make of this?
People don't even matter in this country. That's the truth. The people don't matter. The governors are so powerful for the fact that they have enormous resources at their disposal. And they also know that they can get away with it, and that if they take out these resources, waste it on whatever venture they want, they will not be held accountable in the sense that we can always negotiate or bargain with the EFCC. The EFCC is a toothless bulldog. They are not as sophisticated as people think they are. What they do, these governors know that they will go scot-free. So with the money at their disposal, they can always install anybody. And there is a very big problem in this country, the problem of morality. Most Nigerians, not only politicians, are morally bankrupt. My experience and my interaction with people has shown that almost all Nigerians can be bought. Almost all Nigerians can be bought. So if almost all Nigerians can be bought, if you have money, you will always have your way. So that's simple. So Binani did not do that.
But can you have more money than the governor of the state?
Yes, of course. There are people who have more money than the governor of the state, more money than governor. That's why we always continue to recruit crooks, criminals as our leader. Go into drugs today. Now, once you are successful as a drug baron, you will have more money than a governor of a state now. and then you come, you install governor, or you contest and become governor as a drug baron. Even if you go, you know, kidnapping is a very good business in Nigeria now. So if you go into kidnapping, you can even get, once you are successful to kidnap those that matter, maybe 3, 4, 5, you get reasonable amount of money, start from there, put it into business and continue to kidnapping business, because it's a very good business. Since the security agencies are looking elsewhere, they are more concerned about how they give protection to very few Nigerians. That is what they are concerned about. They don't care about the lives of ordinary citizens. So if you anybody, as long, the only thing that will make you not to go into crime in Nigeria is not because of the security agencies. It's because if you, as maybe because of your family background, your upbringing, or your religion, that's the only thing. But it pays to be a criminal in Nigeria than to be a law-abiding citizen.
Well, those are sad words. But let's end it on this so that we move over to the talks about the primaries and what we're expecting in the off-season elections. What can people do? If a citizen of Adamawa or wherever is listening to you now, what can the average person do to increase the chances that their vote will count?
Just like people have always been talking, criticize whatever evil that is done, and then let the good people not sit back. They should go, come join the politics and see how take party positions, because the party officials, I don't know of one exception. One of about 18 political parties recognized by INEC, I don't know of one political party. Well, okay, maybe you could have some people in a political party, but not the major political party, not in PDP, not in APC. Maybe on the political party that's not very known. All the party officials are interested in money. That's why if you do not, if you come with money, even if you are a known criminal, as long as you come with money, they will give you their ticket. It is purely for sale. It has nothing to do with recruiting the best. They don't even want the best. All they want, the best, is just who has money. And in most cases, those who can throw away this money anyhow are not businessmen. No businessman. In short, Dangote cannot contest election and pay the money Dino Melaye paid. Dangote, being the richest man in Africa, he cannot pay the money Dino paid. Because he's a serious businessman. He cannot throw away his money like that. So that is the situation. Good people are, but if you have more good people in party positions, who will say, no, this person is good, we have to, let's support him, even though he doesn't have money. So if they have people like that, then we can be able to recruit good people. Let the good people don't sit back. What is happening in this country now, the few good people that you have, they don't want to be involved in politics. They say, no, it's a dirty game. No, I don't want to be involved. Because they can always do certain things, or to see how they blackmail you. They should not be afraid of blackmail. They should come out, speak out, support the good people, so that this country can be better. But as it is today, it's the worst people that. So the people in Adamawa, what they should do is to be able to continue to identify the good people, support the good people. If what they should know better, because I was not in Adamawa, everything I have said is based on what I have read, or the contacts I have made with people from that place, and what they have told me. That's what I based my judgment on. So they that are on ground, they know what is happening. So they should be able to say, okay, these are the good persons, support the good people, and the few good people in Adamawa should come out and be involved directly. In short, as it is now, that's why I'm happy for Benue State for bringing that Reverend Father, because they say I don't know him. In short, I don't, even if you put his picture, I don't know. But I only know that there's a Reverend Father that's governor-elect. There are things he can never do. You can't go to him.
You believe his faith will supersede his politics?
Yes, by far. It's by far. Because take for example,
because people believe politics corrupts. You know,
it's not the politics.
You have, it's or is it power, so to speak?
No. Sometimes, you know, a lot is hidden under poverty. If a poor man claims to be morally upright, you cannot judge him to be morally upright until he has been tested with either power, sometimes money, and then women. You should be able to pass these 3 tests before anyone can say morally upright. Because in the case of the Reverend Father, he has been tested with even power. Because as a Reverend Father, he controls a lot of the members of his congregation. And he has been tested with money. because the congregation, they pay certain tithes that he could have diverted. If he had diverted, he would have known, because some persons will say, when you come to contest election, all your secrets will be revealed. They will say, oh, is it not that reverend father that diverted that money that time, that one that almost raped that? So all these things will come, but we did not hear anything like that. So his faith is strong. He's a man of God, and for that reason, he will not want to humiliate or do certain things that people begin to say, even these reverend fathers are worse than. So he'll be mindful of this person, where he's coming from, what his reputation. By so doing, you will see that I have no doubt in my mind that he will be 100% better than Autumn. Because if, for example, you see, the reason he has to be more careful is this: if Autumn, for example, is taken to court and even prosecuted and fined for stealing 100 billion naira, people will not really feel anything, because nobody sees him as somebody that is upright. But if that reverend father is found to have taken 2 million naira, just 2 million naira from Benue State Treasury, people begin to wonder, because nobody will ever think that. People want him to do what is right, and we believe, and by the grace of God, he will do. These are the people that will want to come to power. All
right, thank you so much. We'll go on a break now, so that after the program, we'll talk about primaries, elections, for the off-season elections still to come. For now, let's take a look at what some Abuja residents are saying about the supplementary elections, particularly the Adamawa elections. When we return, the rest of the program continues. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
When a woman is capable of doing something and she happened to be elected as a governor, she have to be opportune to be on that. The glory of what her people have given to her is what people discover from her that she can do, that make her to come to that position. So I think people say what woman can do, woman can also do better. So if they believe in her that she can deliver the state, actually if they gave her the position, I think she's worthy for it. Actually, from what people are saying from the perspective and the political analysis, people are saying that is wrong, because the fact of the victory is not that out before the declaration of the person who won it. So I think the election is, according to them, it was inconclusive for the first time. Later it was declared. So actually, I told you earlier that I'm not a politician and I don't know much about what they are doing in Adamawa. But by God's grace, our prayer is, may God give us a credible leader who will pilot the affair of the state. So that is what we want. It normally take place if the election is inconclusive. So, but by God's grace, if we can have the INEC official who will do the right thing, who will be God-fearful ones, if they happen to say the right thing, so to welcome their declaration, I think is the best. Today, our leaders are not good. Even those people that are appointed to be the INEC officials, many of them, they are not doing the right thing, because they all depend on their pocket. So they don't look onto the desire of the masses. They only look onto their own pocket. So once you are good or bad, if something is coming out of what they want to do, once they will just do their own heart desire. So I think it's better we look onto the good people to give them the position of INEC, do the rightful things in the country.
It's a good one, something we haven't experienced in this country from onset. You get it. You know, we Nigerians, we just have this view that when you come to politics is meant just for the men. As much as I could recommend even my own mother to assume any political post in this country, knowing fully well that she has what it takes to. So I see nothing wrong with that. This is not the first time it's happening. You understand? It's just it's a painful thing that politics in this country has been bastardized, you get me, in the sense that people, you go to vote, and at the end of the day, those you see in power are not those who have been voted for. So it's just that we Nigerians, we are a peace-loving people, you understand? I was discussing with a friend some days back, and I cited some cases far back, of which I know there are some nations that with things going on in this country, I'm telling you, it would have caused a lot of uproar and disorganization in this country. But as it is, me, I know certainly, one day, certainly, this whole thing, I know it would definitely come to an end. So, INEC, the truth is, like I said answers, the system has been bastardized, you understand? So, I would boldly tell you, right from the time of presidential election, you understand, we all saw the manipulations and everything. So, I would tell you that INEC have not been fair enough. That's the truth. INEC hasn't been fair. And all we pray for is just for this whole thing to be corrected. You understand? So to be corrected. And as for INEC, these are humans. You get me? And one day I know certainly some people would assume such positions as well, and they would certainly do what's right. We're not just giving up on the whole thing. We're humans. You get me? And one day I know certainly some people, right from the time of presidential election, you understand, we all saw the manipulations and everything. So I will tell you that INEC have not been fair enough. That's the truth. INEC hasn't been fair. And all we pray for is just for this whole thing to be corrected. You understand? So to be corrected. And as for INEC, these are humans, you get me? And one day I know certainly some people would assume such positions as well, and they would certainly do what's right. We're not just giving up on the whole thing.
All right, welcome back. I'm still speaking with Atiku Abubakar on. Now we're moving over to the topic of the recent primaries that have held for the off-season elections, including Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State. And what this means, you know, ahead of that time, and what we could be seeing in the polity. Welcome back. Let's talk about Kogi first of all. I believe that's your state, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about what we're seeing there. I remember some days to the primaries, I was speaking with a Kogi resident, and he said, you know, Yahaya Bello's favorites, nobody knows. We're thinking that it's going to be neutral and it's going to leave a fair playing ground for whoever emerges. It's not supporting anybody. And then some very close to the time, we saw that Yahaya Bello has appointed or has anointed someone who he believes can do the job. So what really is happening, particularly with the ruling party as regards the elections that are coming in November?
Let me start by talking about the chairman of the primary election committee and governor of Zamfara State. It's a pity that the man is from a state that declared Sharia sometimes back, and the man did what to me is so shameful and unbecoming of even a state governor. Because I don't know the amount of money that he could even collect from Yahaya Bello, being his colleague, that he would have done, that he could have, that he did what he did. He thinks that he's smart. While declaring the winner of the primary election of APC, which was not conducted, he ran away. He allowed Patrick, that one Honorable Patrick Obiagbo, I don't know how he's called, to announce the result.
From Edo State.
From Edo State. That Patrick was the secretary of the committee. He could not declare the winner because maybe probably he sees that that would be too shameful. But by allowing Patrick to declare somebody in an election that was not conducted, it's also shameful. He cannot exonerate himself. What they did was to manufacture their result. I am not a member of APC. Was they manufactured their result because we were, since Kogi is my state, we were following up. Smart Adeyemi contested, Senator Smart Adeyemi, Shaibu Abubakar Audu, the son of the governor-elect, but was not the governor the man who won governorship election before Bello took over, also contested that election. Then what the Bello did was that, you see, it's not only insulting, but it described how we have become in this country as a people who have no shame, who have no morals. Yahya Bello is not only minority, he's minority. He comes from a zone that is the least populated in the state. We have 3 senatorial zones. The Kogi East is the most populated with about 52%. And that's where Lele Prince Abubakar Abdu comes from. And that's where I come from. Then the Kogi West. Then Kogi Central, where Yahya Bello comes from. Yahya Bello, according to Smart ADME, which I also posted on my status, that Yahya Bello has brought out his own successor from his family. Even if it's monarchy, it is rotated in a way that other families can also get. But from his family, his cousin, his first cousin, from the same local government, okay, from the same ward, from the same police unit. Why did he do that? It's because of the same thing I have always said. Because in 2019, supported by Nigerian police, while they were shooting from the air, Yahya Bello won his election by killing people. I say, I'm not making allegedly. Not allegedly. Who burnt a woman in Ofu? Was it not on the instruction of Yahya Bello?
Do you have proof of that?
What? They have swept that under the carpet now. Who burnt? It was the thugs that burnt. And who is the commander of the thugs? It's Yahya Bello that is the commander of the thugs in Kogi State. As I talk to you, because of the way I speak on issues, it's not all the time I can go to my village. I can't just go anyhow to my village, because you have to be careful what you do and where you go to, because for whatever reason, people who speak against Yahya Bello are always murdered, and people are being killed anyhow in Kogi State. It is not reported, including the Nigerian Navy, which is that they have an office in Ida local government. That's where I come from. They kill anyhow. Of course, during the last election, they killed somebody at INEC office.
Right, we would have to be cautious about our statements here, especially when they are not hard evidence that we can. Hard
evidence that you can bring photo of the person that was killed at INEC office. The woman that was born, it was reported everywhere. Who is the commander of the thugs in Kogi State? It's Yahya Bello.
Yeah, but the evidence there would have to be something that links Yahya Bello directly, perhaps of him giving the order.
His boys, they shoot openly. I can tell you, local government chairman, openly they carry guns. Openly.
All right, for the sake of this program, let us just use the word allegedly. But
okay, if you say so, right. Allegedly.
But speaking about the dynamics within the election, someone might ask, if he is a minority, he's a two-term governor, or at least the second term there was a complete election, and he had to, handle that re-election, and he was victorious. How was he able to win this if he comes from the minority that shouldn't?
Yahya Bello has never won any election in his life. And I can prove that, even from the last election result. He claimed to have had over 100,000 votes from Okene and another neighboring local government from the central where he comes from. He comes from Okene. During the last election, how many votes came from Okene? Because of the use of beavers, what he did then was to write the result. He wrote the result, but because beavers now have to accredit, so you have to rig within the limit of the number of accredited voters. Because of the use of beavers, he could not write the numbers which he wrote in 2019. I am speaking to you now, I'm telling you, Yahya Bello has never and can never win any election in Kogi State, not governorship. He could win senatorial election. Yahya Bello has never. He wrote the result. Why didn't he bring that half of the, at least, why did he not bring half of the votes that he claimed to have won with in the governorship election? He couldn't, because of the use of beavers. What he did was to write the result in Kogi East, where we come from, where we are the majority. He sent his thugs, and then what they do is to destroy ballot papers and then attack people. But if you attack people, you can't get the vote. So the only place you could write result, now you can't write the result again with the use of beavers. So Yahya Bello has never and can never win election. I am saying this confidently because I've been in politics for at least 20 years. He can never win election. The only election he can win now is maybe senatorial election, because he has become popular as a result of taking our mandate, the mandate that belongs to the Igala people, which was really given to us, and then was sold at the National Secretariat of APC, because these are money bags. The only thing they know is money. It was sold during Oyegu to him, and then the last primary election, it is so shameful that I do not think, with due respect to Mr. President and the President-elect, I don't think there's any responsible and reasonable, any responsible man in the entire of APC, national officers. No one single person is a reasonable and responsible person. Because as long as you don't come out to talk against the evil, speak against evil, you are an irresponsible person. No single national officer of APC is responsible. They have all kept quiet because, according to what we hear, monies have been exchanging hands. You say you are conducting primary election, you did not conduct. The case of PDP, where Dino bought, is that can even be allowed because he bought his own. This one, there was no primary. He just sat in a place. The most popular aspirant in the APC is Yakubu Murtala. I am not a member of APC, but the fear.
Not smart, I mean, not.
No. Yakubu Murtala can defeat anybody, including all the former governors of Kogi State put together. Everybody he can defeat because of his maybe generosity and closeness to the grassroots. He can defeat. Yahya Bello, knowing fully well that. So when the result was announced, Yakubu Murtala Ajaka, who is the most popular, most loved, was not even included in the result sheet. He was not included. He bought form, he was screened and was cleared by APC, and was not included in the result sheet. So this goes to tell you that the fraud was carried out by even members of the highest hierarchy of APC. So Yahya Bello, being, he doesn't pay salary, and he believes that the money is used for all of these things and to settle judges and then get judgment. He believes he can. If not, how do you take your cousin brother as a candidate in a state where you are not only minority, you are not second, you are the least populated in the state? You are taking your cousin brother. The cousin brother say, of course, smart. I didn't need to know, but I know they are from the same local government. See, Yahya Bello, because he believes in the what he can do with Kogi State money, the chief of staff is from his local government. The party chairman of APC is from local government. He is from the same Okene local government. He has picked the governorship candidate from Okene local government. Even when the Igalas were at the helm of affairs as governors, there's no Igala that has been succeeded by anybody in his federal constituency. Not to talk about his local government. No Igala man. And no Igala man has ever been governor since 1999 that has picked the party chairman, state party chairman from his zone. They go to a different zone. This one, you have a state chairman of APC from the same from I think it's from the Labour local government, but the chief of staff is from the same local government. Then the candidate from the same local government, and according to Smart, he's his cousin brother. So why is he doing this? He believes that he can use money, negotiate, and use security forces to. That's why in the beginning of this program, I said, we have decided we are going to submit our lives to the security agencies. They can kill us. We are not going to fight them. We do not have weapons. It is Bello camp that have weapons. But they have the right to kill us. We'll give them our lives to kill. But it is after they have killed us that they will declare Bello's brother. That's just the resolution now. And that's the campaign I'm taking back home. Yes, we are not going to fight you. We know that you people have become so corrupt that you can, once there's money, you can do anything. That was why they brought helicopter in the 2011. Yahya Bello, I am saying, forget what INEC declared. Forget whatever the judiciary said. It is a lie. Yahya Bello has never won an election, and he can never win governorship election. Not to talk about his brother.
Still, let's speak a little bit more on the dynamics before we move on to other states. I believe there's a part of Kogi where there's a people in Kogi called the Okun.
Yes, the Smart ADAMA.
Smart ADAMA. Yeah.
These are the second largest.
Are they also minorities, or
they are second largest people in Kogi State, so they are also minority, but they are more in number than the Yahya Bello's people who are the same.
All right, so there are talks now that I believe Dino Melaye is from that region.
Dino Melaye is from that region.
So we have Dino Melaye from the PDP, and we have I can't recall his name, from the ADC. And so they say who is also from.
Yes, I think he's a member of House of Rep.
Yes, also an Okun man.
Okun man, yes.
It is believed that there will be some what they call vote splitting, and this is what will enable the APC win, because the Okun and some others might be divided and split their votes between the PDP, the ADC. And at the end of the day, Yahya Bello's candidate takes the day.
Yahya Bello's candidate, I've just told you that himself, Yahya Bello can never win governorship election. Not to talk about his candidate is an unknown person.
Just for clarification, did you know him before he won?
He was Auditor General for local governments.
Okay.
Yes, he was Auditor General. He's we know him as somebody who Yahya Bello uses to siphon local governments funds. They can take him to court. We know him as somebody who Yahya Bello uses to siphon local government funds. So, according to how we know him, he's even more deadly.
Allegedly, but
he is even more deadly than Yahya Bello. Because that's the reason why local government staffs are not being paid. The staff of the staff of local government in Kogi State are being paid 2,500. We can provide evidence. Salary as 2,500 because they divided by 4 by 8. That's how they divide their salary. The quarter. That's the kind of language you hear. They pay them 2,000. So that is the evil man behind that kind of salary. So it's more deadly than what you are talking about splitting of vote. The Kogi is where I come from with the Igalas. Combine the Central and the Okun people, the West together, we can win governorship election. Of course. So whether they split or they don't split, if it is election that will be conducted and it is based on numbers, the Central and the West come together, we can win election.
Well, this is on the assumption that everybody will simply vote their ethnic group or their own location, but we don't know about that. Okay. Let's talk about competence and about doing the job. I'd like to know, if you want to reveal that information, who your preferred candidate is, and also speaking about competence. Now with the people you have, what's your view for Kogi State? What is the best Kogi State can get?
With the people we have now,
on the
I
ballot,
there's no responsible human being on the ballot for now. No one single. You know how I have condemned the candidate of APC, but it seems to even be better than Dino Melaye. Because at least that one has, with so many girlfriends, he has a wife. This one doesn't even have a wife. He doesn't have a wife. It's not because he doesn't have a wife that's a problem. That's not even, it's not that the problem.
Okay.
So now, how can we satisfy Dino Melaye? A man that comes from a very rich family. I finished from ABU. He finished from ABU. Dino Melaye is the only person I know from ABU that will go to a female hostel to beg for toothpaste. That was just a few years back. Go to female hostel to beg for toothpaste. As if you have begged all the people in Suleiman Hall, where you are, that you could no longer beg anybody again. You go to female hostel to go and beg for toothpaste. After some years becoming House of Rep member, I tell you, Dino is one of the richest men in Kogi State. Now, where did you get the money from? From a very rich family. Where did he get the money from? A man like that with high taste. I once visited him in his house. I saw a Rolls Royce. I have visited people, governors. People are very wealthy. It was the only time, Dino's house was the only house I went to that I was just looking around. Am I in Nigeria?
Right, let's stay away from.
How can we satisfy him?
Let's stay away from what's like wretched. But speaking about Dino Melaye, he's very open, very brazen with his wealth and displays. And to this date, I believe the only issue that I can recall at the moment he's had with law enforcement was one that involved, I think, his aide shooting someone, and I don't know how that case turned out. But as far as I know, throughout his years in politics, he has not been taken up by the EFCC or by. In fact, I believe Dino Melaye has an organization he calls the Anti-Corruption Network or something of such, where he uncovers, or according to him, corruption going on in the government. So I like to understand if all his wealth and everything is ill-gotten, with how brazen he is, with how open he is with the displays, with how he even goes after other people for corruption. How is it that in all of these years he doesn't have, concrete case being built up against him?
Like so many others who are very wealthy, who made their monies from politics, have not been picked. I told you the EFCC is a toothless bulldog. What you need to do is to see how you can negotiate with the EFCC. That's the truth of the matter. And in the case of Dino, he has a group which fights against corruption. The group is meant to blackmail people. This is what the group does. If he has evidence that you have looted 2 billion naira, he meets you for negotiation. That the 2 billion naira which you have looted with evidences which he will get, because having been a member of House of Reps and Senator, he has access to certain information and evidences. And because he's always making noise and claiming to be an activist, he gets this information. Then he comes to you having stolen 2 billion naira. Say, or 1 billion, you give us half of it. If you don't give, we escalate it. That's just how he makes that's what he does. He's not fighting he's not an anti-corruption crusader. He is worse than those people because he's a blackmailer. That is what, because we are on the same group with Dino Melaye. And after this interview, usually if I grant interview like this and I talk about somebody, I send it to him. I have his number, he has my number. I send it to him directly. So that let it not be that he did not hear I will send to him immediately, and I'll send to the group which both of us, those of us who were student leaders at ABU, we belong to a particular group. He is also there, and I'll send to him also. So that is what he does. So I have told you about Yahya Bello's cousin. Even as worse as that guy is, it is better for him to be governor than Dino. This is because why that guy will believe he will siphon Kogi State money, but he would not be too extravagant as to make people begin to hate themselves in the state. This one now will become governor. What you can see the kind of house, the cars he buys. He will want to be like his senior friend Atiku Abubakar, who has a villa in Dubai. We don't have such money to buy a villa in Dubai for Edino Melaye. That is his interest. There's nothing as worse as Yahya Bello is. He will be a better governor than Edino, because all of these things, you can't satisfy a man that wants everything in this world that he doesn't need. There was a time Dino Melaye on our group, he sent his wristwatch, the pictures of his wristwatch alone. I tell you, since I was born, I'm over 43 years, the money, all the monies I have used, everything I have, his wristwatch alone can buy. The kind of wristwatch he sent, only wristwatch. A man from such a family that I just told you, see, I should not use that word. I'm not using the word again. Such a family, only his wristwatch. I calculated everything since I was born in 1979. Since I was born on the 3rd of September 1979 till today. And everything I have, his wristwatch alone is more than that. Wristwatch, oh. We are not talking about houses, oh. We are not talking about cars. Is that a can? How much do we have in Kogi State? So there is no human beings contesting in Kogi State as far as I'm concerned. But we likely, what we are expecting, maybe from other smaller parties, we can get somebody. But for now, for APC, for PDP, but at worst, we would rather go and support the candidate of the APC and make it a family affair than to support a man that his taste is so much that the entire money in Kogi State cannot satisfy.
So it means even at the end of the day, after the criticism of Yahya Bello and his proposed antics at the election, you'd rather go with his
because that among the two evils, this seems to be the lesser evil.
All right, let's quickly touch on the other two states. What are your expectations? We have Governor Opuzodinma hoping to make a statement. You know, there's a lot of talk that he's a Supreme Court governor. Now he has the chance to go back to the ballot and win, clear out. We have the Labour Party candidates, we have the PDP candidates who's from the NWC. Also Bayelsa State. What are your expectations for these other two states?
See, these two states, like the Imo State, Governor Opuzodinma is like Yahya Bello. They have a lot in common. And that is why he has, okay, now he's the governor, supposed to be the chief security officer of the state. But he's the one that has caused more insecurity in the state. His activities and his emergence as governor has caused more insecurity in the state. These are the things we are talking about. It's not only about my own state, even Imo State. It's not that people say he's a Supreme Court governor. He is never a governor of the state. Now it's just Supreme Court that made him governor. He's not the governor. They never elected him. So now again, he is going back. So there is so much tension in the state because people are apprehensive in the sense that even if you don't vote this man, he might use other means, declare himself and go to court again and collect this, get returned again as governor. That is the fear. And whenever you have this kind of fear in a country, the country can never move forward. Except if people will do what we are ready to do now, to submit our lives to the security agencies to kill all of us. But that is the case of Imo State. He is not loved at all in Imo. Because the reports we get every day and the activities, the killings everywhere is as a result of people who are frustrated and are going into, instead of them to follow the due course and obey the laws of the land and see the right thing is done, they are taking laws into their hand because they know the governor they are dealing with that is also a man that will not obey certain laws. That's the truth of the matter. He's just like Yahya Bello. And in the case of Bayelsa State, I am ashamed of Tim Priest River. The immediate past, I think he has resigned as Minister of Petroleum.
Yes.
They brought out Lion to contest election. He won his election as a result of the kind of things we get in this, the kind of judgment they give. the governor-elect was never sworn in. Now, instead of allowing the same man to go on, get the ticket, as a compensation for the evil that was done to him by the judiciary, I do not believe in that judgment. It's not because I like him, but I don't support evil. I feel pained that his ticket was taken away from him. Only God knows what happened in the judiciary before they gave that judgment. Now, Tim Priest River went and then used his contact at the National, got the ticket for himself. What my appeal to the people of Bayelsa State is to ensure that they defeat him in a way that he will receive the shock of his life, so that the governor of Bayelsa State is returned again. Because a man that is not honorable should not be voted as governor of a state. You need to be honorable. People should be able to trust you. You should be trustworthy before you are elected as governor of a state. How do you? They are the ones who brought out this lion. Lion won his election. The court took it away from him on an excuse that based on technicalities, not based on the substance of the case. And that's what is always happening at the Supreme Court. So people have this fear of people going to the court because it seems to be for the highest bidder. That is the perception of the public. That's the perception of the public. And they always, by their judgments, they try to prove the public right by all their judgments. Just like the one that happened sometimes back, not with the Senate president. We don't know whether the Senate president ever contested the senatorial primaries, because he contested the presidential primaries. But when he went to the Supreme Court, for whatever reason, they said he is the candidate. How can you become a candidate in an election that you did not contest? So it's the same thing, and that is the situation of this country. That is why we are where we are. That is why the country can never move forward. That is why they continue to budget money. You hear on paper, but on ground you don't see anything.
All right, thank you so much for this. We've run out of time now, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. Hopefully you do send it to Senator Dino Melaye.
I will. One I will even screenshot and send to you that I have sent to him, because anything I send to Dino, he reads immediately, because he knows I have always not been in support of him.
All right, thank you so much. Hopefully we get him here someday to defend himself.
Yes.
A lot of the things you said.
And you can call both of us to come.
Thank you so much for coming. All right, that's what we'll take on the program today. Do join us every weekday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. The Polity reaches you live from our Abuja studios. Have a nice day. I'm Amadine Obewe. See you tomorrow.